Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and I'm back with another roundup video of a bunch of albums from the month of May that were released that I didn't touch down in a full review, and there was actually a lot of records that came out that I wanted to touch upon for you guys, so let's get into these reviews. So, newest collaborative album from Freddie Gibbs and producer The Alchemist, and it is another solid record from Freddie overall. I mean, he does sound like he's on the top of his game once again. The production style that Alchemist brings to the table on here does remind me a lot of something that comes out of Griselda Records, which isn't really my preferred production style overall, unless it is executed very well. And I will say, for the most part on Alfredo, it is executed well. With the exception maybe of like the first half of the record, I did think the second half was a lot better. Tracks like Something to Rap About and All Glass are two of the best Freddie Gibbs tracks to come out so far, I think. Oh man. So I put on the first track of this record, and after it was done, I immediately shut it off. And I was like, you know what, Chris, you can't do that. You can't just judge this whole record by the first track, you gotta give it another shot. And by track 3, I just shut the whole thing off. Newest record from Lady Gaga, Chromatica over here, actually wasn't that bad. I do think Rain on Me with Ariana Grande was the best track on this record because, like, the further you go down the track list, the more formulaic it reveals itself to be, and I'm overall not that huge on Lady Gaga. I mean, her voice is got this, like, overbearing, like, powerful kind of quality to it, but for me, it just puts me into that, like, really cringy feeling. So Miss Piss is actually a new collaborative metal record from Chelsea Wolfe and Jess Gowrie. This thing sounds a lot more intriguing than it actually is. I mean, it is just so thin sounding for a metal album. And there's just, like, way too much reverb used on the vocals on this record that get really buried and obscured in the mix. I mean, it kind of just sounds like you're at some dive bar with, like, a shitty metal band playing and you got your earplugs shoved way too far into your ears. So singer-songwriter Joanna Warren's new album, Chaotic Good, over here is just kind of okay, honestly. I mean, it is a pretty generic by-the-numbers indie rock release. I do appreciate how she's trying to, like, convey her emotions through the vocals on this record here, but when she starts to scream, it just goes so cringy. You don't need me to tell you that this record sucks, really. I mean, but here I am, telling you that this record sucks. Oh, man, I just can't do it. The vocals are just so bad. It's just like an instant stopper for me. New Ka album was actually a pleasant surprise over here, and, not much more to say about it other than the fact it's just another Ka album, honestly. And if you, like myself, have been really captivated by his borderline spoken word flow and delivery and his psychedelic vintage-sounding beats, you gotta give this thing a listen. I mean, I can't see how you're not gonna at least enjoy it. So I actually got a lot of requests to review this record by Kehlani over here, and I mean, I could pretty much do that in one sentence. It is watered down SZA. New album from Perfume Genius over here has been pretty buzzed about. I just don't see the appeal of Perfume Genius. Never really have, honestly. It kind of just sounds like, a pretty well put together gumbo soup of a lot of other indie influences coming together, and, this new album over here just didn't really change my mind. Oh man, another album from Future, High Off Life. I mean, he's got to be high off life at this point. He keeps making the same record, but people keep listening to it. So, I mean, if you want another hour and 20 minutes of Future, then be my guest, I suppose. I actually had a lot of fun with this new Sleaford Mods record over here, even though I do think it will be an acquired taste for most listeners based off of just how minimal and repetitive these tracks are. But I mean, they're basically singing and chanting what sounds like either nursery rhymes or some kind of like soccer football club, bar rally kind of thing going on over these like beats. And I just can't help but feel captivated and energized by it and all that like kind of angsty punk aggression that comes off of these tracks at times once you kind of learn the melodies. Newest album from Jerry Paper over here kind of sounds like a mix between Mac DeMarco and Ariel Pink, but don't get me wrong, I mean, it is really not as cool as I just made it sound right there. I mean, there isn't really much about this record that sticks out to me overall, honestly. So this is a new EP from Lecx, Stacy, and I do think there is a lot of potential at what is going on here. Instrumentally, it's like a blend of emo, pop-punk, hip-hop, very similar along the lines to like a Lil Peep, but it isn't necessarily like as whiny sounding as Peep could be. There's just the vocals are an instant consistent stopper on this EP for me. They're just like not really that good. I actually really love this new album here by Natalia Lafourcade, another really good follow-up to Musas Volume 2. And I mean, her voice is just so beautiful, and it is on full display once again here. I'm honestly not really that well versed in this style of music. I'm just really loving what I'm hearing, so I mean, I just hope she continues to pump out more of this stuff. Newest album from Arthur over here. Arthur's an artist that I have been pretty well aware of for a little bit. I mean, I get asked about him once in a while, because, you know, his lo-fi brand of like experimental pop and hip-hop kind of blend thing is like right in my wheelhouse. But the songwriting on his projects just don't really land for me. I mean, it kind of borderlines tinkering at times and just kind of sounds a little too odd and quirky. So this is like an industrial noise record that just dropped through Death Bomb recently, and you know, I think I'm more intrigued by the ideas that are presented on this record, because overall the songwriting just kind of is a huge miss for me. It sounds really flat, and the way that these tracks progress are just not interesting, and each track kind of does the same thing, and they kind of just change up the tone a little bit. It's just, I don't know. And rounding up this batch of records for the month of May, Carly Rae Jepsen surprise dropped a bunch of dedicated B-sides, which is really cool, just like she did for her last record, Emotion. And it is another batch of some razor sharp pop tunes. I wouldn't say it's necessarily as great as what landed on Dedicated, but still really, really great. And it's just about the only happy sounding music that's been released recently, so you should probably listen to it just for that fact. And that's gonna do it for this batch of records rounding out the month of May. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, got some good suggestions out of it, and make sure to drop a like and share. And if you want more content from me, hit that subscribe button. Peace.